Welcome to Cinematic Recaps. This movie is called Freddy vs. Jason. The movie is about Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees who return to terrorize the teenagers of Elm Street. Only this time, they're out to get each other too. Sit back and enjoy to see what happens. After 4 years, Freddy Krueger is trapped in hell, and enraged as the parents of Springwood have emerged from their psychosis. They figured out how to keep the children from remembering him, rendering him powerless and unable to escape, determined to make them remember and fear him. He finds Jason Voorhees, disguises himself as Jason's mother, Pamela Voorhees, and brings him back to life, telling him to kill some people on Elm Street. If enough fear is spread by Jason, Freddy will come back. Meanwhile, Jason goes to Laurie Campbell's house, where Nancy and Jesse used to live, where Laurie, Kia, Gib, Blake, and Trey are. Trey is Gib's boyfriend and Kia wants Laurie and Blake to be together, which Laurie doesn't like. After a while, Jason kills Trey and the police think that Freddy was the one who killed him. One of them mentions Freddy's name while Laurie and Blake both hear the name. At the police station, Laurie falls asleep and is stalked by Freddy, but he's not strong enough to kill her yet. When Freddy attempts to kill Blake in his dream, his claw goes right through him without harming him at all. When Blake wakes up, he finds his father got his head cut off. After that, Jason kills Blake as well. All the kids who made contact with Freddy were placed in Weston Hills where they are given Hypnosil to prevent them from dreaming. Among them are Mark Davis and Laurie's boyfriend Will Rollins. Will saw Laurie's dad, which it was Freddy, and Will did not know it was him at the time, kill Laurie's mother. When Will sees the report on TV that someone was murdered in Laurie's house, he decides to escape so he can see if she's all right. Mark takes the keys from Max, a worker at the asylum, and they escape. The next morning, the police blame the murders on Blake and say that he committed suicide after killing his father and Trey. Kia didn't believe them and knows that they're lying. After Laurie tells Kia and Gib about her nightmare, Mark shows up and tells Laurie and all the students all about Freddy. Will comes and tells Mark to stop scaring Laurie. Laurie, who is shocked from seeing Will, passes out. After the boys leave the school, Mark tells Will that Springwood covered up Freddy's existence and that everyone who made contact with him was locked up in Weston Hills, so no one else could get hurt or killed. At night, Mark realizes that he screwed up the town's plans by spreading enough fear about Freddy. At the cornfield, Laurie and the teenagers are having fun until Gib falls asleep and is attacked by Freddy. Before Freddy can kill her, Jason kills her, along with a glowing raver who was going to rape Gib in the real world. Freddy realizes that Jason will keep on killing his children and is very angry. After Jason kills Gib, the glowing raver, Shaq, and several other teenagers, Laurie, Will, Kia, Linderman, and Freeberg escape. After they leave the party and take the guys home, Will tells Laurie the truth about how her father killed her mother, or so he thought, because it was actually Freddy who did it. At first, Laurie didn't believe him until she wants to find out the truth about her mother's death. They arrive at Mark's house and witness Mark being killed by Freddy with fire, and Freddy scratches Mark's face, and on Mark's back, it says, "Freddy's back." Meanwhile, Deputy Stubbs finds Laurie, Will, Kia, Linderman, and Freeberg and tells them about Jason's life. Laurie falls asleep and meets Freddy. When she wakes up, she pulls a piece of Freddy's ear out of her dream with her into the real world. The guys know the truth. There are 2 killers and can get Freddy out of Laurie's dream and pull him into the real world. Will mentions that he never had nightmares at Weston Hills and was taking Hypnosil. The guys discover that Hypnosil will prevent them from dreaming, so Stubbs leads them to Weston Hills so they can take Hypnosil to protect them from Freddy. In the power room, Freeberg was smoking marijuana and is tricked by Freddy, who possesses Freeberg's body. In Freeberg's body, Freddy pours the Hypnosil down the drain before Stubbs and Linderman find him. Jason comes and tries to attack them until he gets electrocuted by the computer station and pulls Stubbs into the electricity, killing him in the process. The guys find that the Hypnosil is gone by finding all the empty bottles on the floor. Jason sees them through a window and throws Stubbs's body through the door. They panic and leave the room, noticing Freeberg, Freddy in disguise, standing in the hallway with his hands behind his back. Jason comes storming toward him and Freeberg, Freddy, injects Jason with the 2 tranquilizer syringes he had behind his back. While doing so, Jason chops Freeberg in half and passes out from the tranquilizers. Freddy attacks Jason in the dream world, but Jason finally understands he is being used and fights back against Freddy. who is unable to kill Jason until he finds out that Jason's weakness is water. He's only scared of water in his deep subconscious. Meanwhile, Laurie, Will, Kia, and Linderman take Jason to Camp Crystal Lake so he can fight Freddy and have a home field advantage. Laurie is injected with tranquilizer so she can pull Freddy out of the dream world. She sees that Freddy has modified Jason's dream so it is back at the time when Jason was drowned, at age 11. Within the dream, the other children call him Freak Show and push him into the lake. Freddy tries to drown Jason until he wakes up just as Kia is about to give him mouth-to-mouth and causes the van to crash. Fortunately, they are right at Camp Crystal Lake. With Jason awake, Freddy turns to Laurie and reveals to her that he was the one who killed her mother through a dream sequence. While Freddy is attacking her and scratching her with his clawed glove, Will, Kia, and Linderman fight Jason at Camp Crystal Lake. Linderman is killed when Jason spikes him on the sharp edge of a shelf. Meanwhile, Will accidentally drops one of Laurie's right hand, falls into the fire started by Jason. She wakes up and pulls Freddy out of the dream world. Freddy and Jason engage in a bloody battle in the middle, which Kia distracts Freddy and is killed by Jason. After Kia's death, Laurie stays to kill and beat Freddy for her revenge for her mother's death. Freddy appears to have the advantage over Jason, though he is the harder of the two to kill. Eventually, the villain's knocked over to the docks by a mining cart and Jason hacks away at Freddy with his machete until Freddy cuts off Jason's fingers and takes his machete. Freddy slashes Jason with it in his claws, inflicting several injuries on him, including stabbing him in the eyes. During the fight, Laurie sprays the docks with gasoline and throws some burning sticks onto the docks where the villains are at. Jason uses the distraction to impale Freddy with his arm and tears Freddy's right arm off. Freddy, who has blood pouring from his mouth, manages to stab Jason with his machete while Laurie and Will run and jump in the water. Several propane tanks explode from the fire Laurie started, setting the villains on fire and sending them flying into the water. Camp Crystal Lake is destroyed in the process. After the explosion, Will and Laurie get out of the water and embrace for a moment only to see Freddy, who survived the blast. Freddy tries to kill Laurie and Will with Jason's machete until Jason came out of the water and stabs Freddy from behind with his own arm and falls into the lake. Meanwhile, Freddy drops Jason's machete and falls to his knees. Laurie picks up Jason's machete and cuts Freddy's head off after Laurie saying, "Welcome to my world, bitch." Freddy's head and Freddy's body fall into the lake. Jason sinks below the surface as Laurie watches on. Laurie then throws Jason's machete into the lake and walks away with Will. The next morning, there is fog and it's very quiet. All of a sudden, Jason walks out of the lake carrying his machete in one hand and Freddy's severed head in the other. It seems that Jason defeated Freddy, until Freddy's head winks at the audience and laughs as the end credits begin to roll. And that is the end of this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for weekly updates of movie recaps like this. Comment what movie you want next. Thanks for watching.